the Fed raises interest rates again today, as it's poised to do, costs for Americans who are borrowing on their credit cards, mortgages, and student loans are going to go up again. So what does this administration have to say to working families who have already slid into debt over rising inflation and are now going to be paying more?
So here's what I'll say first to the Fed. As you know, first and foremost, the Fed is independent, and we do not comment on or interfere in their policies. The president made that clear. He wanted to make sure that the Fed has space to make their decision and to make monetary policy. So want to be very clear about that. As it relates to inflation more broadly, this is a president that has, when it comes to his economic policy, he's put lowering costs for the Americans a top priority. And we understand, and you hear this from the president as well, we understand that the American people, some people are still feeling the squeeze and still feeling kind of the pressure, if you will, of where we are with our economy. And so when you look at the data, there has been some relief in progress in fighting inflation. The consumer price index, most specifically, inflation has fallen over the last 9 months. Inflation is at the lowest rate it has been in almost 2 years, since May 2020. Inflation has fallen about 45% from its peak last year. Wages rose last month and are higher than they were 9 months ago, accounting for inflation as well. Gas prices are down about 140 from the peak after Putin's invasion, and grocery prices fell last month for the first time since September 2020. Again, we understand that there's more work to do. The president gets that and understands that. That's why the Inflation Reduction Act was so important, as we talk about energy costs, lowering that, as we talk about healthcare costs, lowering that, and he'll continue to do the work to see what else we can do to help the American people.
The Fed just raised interest rates again, and you mentioned that inflation has come down, but it's still stuck at 5%. Is the president frustrated that inflation isn't coming down more quickly?
The president not going to comment on the Fed and its policy decision. They're independent. We're going to respect that, give them the space to make their monetary policy decisions as they have done under this administration for the last 2 years. So I want to be very clear on that. The president is working every day to make sure that we do what we can and meet the American people where they are on lowering cost. That's why he took some historic actions. That's why we were able to do the Inflation Reduction Act. That's why we were able to lower gas prices as President Putin started this aggression on Ukraine and this war. And so we'll continue to do that. Let's not forget what the lowering costs for families, what we've done. We've lowered prescription drug costs, capping insulin at $35 a month for seniors, allowing Medicare to negotiate lower power, helping lower energy bills. That's important. That's what we have been able to do as an administration, where MAGA Republicans, they are doing the opposite. They're gutting programs that lowering cost. Take our economy hostage with the default. That's what they're threatening. Bring back failed trickle-down economy. That's not what the president believes. He believes on building an economy from the bottom up and middle out. So we're doing the work that we believe needs to be done. We always understand there's more work to be done, and again, I've laid this out earlier. Inflation has fallen over the last 9 months. That's important. We saw that in the CPI data, and so. Do we need to do more work on this? Yes, but inflation also has fallen 45% from its peak last year. And that is because of the work that this president has done because of his economic policy plan.
What's more important to the White House at this point, to keep bringing down inflation or to prevent more economic slowdown?
I don't think it's one or the other. I think the president understands that when he's president, he has multiple things that he needs to deal with. We have said that we see the economy moving towards a transition of more stable and steady growth. We see that in the data. We see that in our jobs data that we saw just last month, and so we're seeing that. We believe that that's where we're headed. But of course, inflation is one of the most important things that Americans care about. Is what we're doing to lower cost. And so that's one of the number one things that you see when it comes to the president's economic plan, is making sure he's doing everything that his administration can to do just that.